With today's TWAB, Bungie announced some arc changes and buffs to specific arc items going into next season, Season 18. For those of you that don't know what the TWAB is, it's This Week at Bungie, basically a weekly blog where Bungie updates people on the game, whether there's patches, hotfixes, raid launches, etc., etc. And for this week's edition, they talked about the sandbox. So for those of you that want to read about that, I'll leave a link to that in the pinned comment below. But for the video, I'm going to be talking about two items. One smaller item getting a change, or rather an archetype, and then one big item. And I mean literally, like, it's huge. The gun is huge. You'll see. Anyway, so first up, I want to talk about Arsenic Bite. The reason I'm talking about Arsenic Bite is because it's arc and also a lightweight frame, and Bungie, in this TWAB, specifically said lightweight frame bows are getting a buff. Specifically, they said the subfamily has languished compared to their higher damage counterparts for some time, in part due to the difficulty hitting perfect draw shots, so we've made it a bit easier in that, and they have reduced the base draw time by 5% from 612 to 580, and then increased the perfect draw time window, which is how long you can hold a drawn bow before you begin to lose accuracy and damage. Stability modifies this window, and they changed it from 0.30 to 0.50 on the low end, and 0.55 to 0.80 on the high end. Basically, the bow just got better. The damage itself has not, but the bow itself has gotten better, and the lightweight frame archetype itself has gotten better. Additionally, Arsenic Bite is an arc bow, and we're going into an arc 3.0 season, and it is one of the few weapons, not just bows, but one of the few weapons in the game that can roll an explosive perk, an explosive head, and dragonfly together on the same weapon with the two columns. So, great bow, one of the best bows in the game, even today, without this patch, is one of the best bows in the game. The next question you're probably going to be asking is, where do you get this bow? So currently, in the World Pool, you cannot obtain this bow. However, you can get this bow in a few ways. First off is just looking at Xur weekly in his weapon rotations, every Friday, whether he's in the Tower, EDZ, Nessus, or you can look at the weekly rotation for Dares of Eternity. There is a weapon rotation for Dares of Eternity each week. So, for example, last week was Gnawing Hunger. This week, I believe, is 7 Seraph Carbine. So, the Arsenic Bite drop should be coming either next week on the last week of the season, or sometime in the near future. So, if you want to get this bow, look out for that in Dares. Additionally, they'll be doing a revamp to Dares of Eternity, where they'll be including origin traits on the weapons within Dares. So, that's a nice bonus to go back in as well, if you want to get any of the other weapons in there too. Finally, Overload Bow will probably be coming back next season, as it's one of the best overload options in the game. It is not inconsistent, let's say, garbage like autos and SMGs. Don't get me wrong, autos and SMGs aren't as bad as they used to be, but I would still definitely take Overload Bow over either of them, because Overload Bow stuns in one single shot every time. So that's a good reason to have this bow just for a legendary option instead of using like Le Monarch, for example, because we hate Le Monarch. The other weapon I wanted to talk about is Legend of Acrius. So remember how I said the gun is literally huge? Yeah, this gun is gigantic. Legend of Acrius, for those of you that don't know, used to be my favorite weapon in the game. Probably the first 2 years of D2's lifespan. I dubbed it Legend of Chungus because it's heavy as hell, and to the point where you could literally not jump on the teacups in Last Wish with this gun out. You would not be able to get high enough to proceed with the encounter in Shirochi. It was hilarious. Anyway, this gun was really fun and really good back in the day, but obviously now power creep has set in, and a lot of things have gotten much better, so it kind of took a backseat in the PvE meta. But luckily, Bungie is planning to buff this with the recent patch. Aside from all the pellet shotgun stuff aside, Legend of Acrius is also getting a buff in the form of, well, let's read the TWAB. Legend of Acrius has fallen behind other heavy short-range weapons and warrants a buff. The Catalyst now grants Trench Barrel in addition to its other effects. So, if people don't know what Trench Barrel is, you hit a melee with your character, and then you get a damage buff for your shotgun for the next 3 shots. That could be a huge difference for Legend of Acrius going into an arc-related season, and just as a heavy weapon overall. It's obviously an arc weapon, and we'll get artifact mods that will be centered around arc damage, and Trench Barrel is a pretty good perk on itself, honestly. But wait, that's not all. Let's not forget, there are specific exotics that could tie into this very, very well. Those being Liar's Handshake. Some of you might remember this being insane with the old Trench Barrel before that got nerfed. And this is a arc exotic for the hunters on the gloves. It says, using your arc ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. So, given that you will be punching first with Liar's Handshake and Acrius now, you can stack your combination blows and all that with your Arc Hunter, assuming they keep that in Arc 3.0, which I don't see why they wouldn't. And then you get even more damage out of your kit than normally. Also, one more exotic to add on top of that, in Mask of Bacchus. Now, normally this is not a Arc exotic, however, it does have Arc in its perk. So, specifically, we're going to be talking about after shifting, your Arc weapons deal increased damage to commands for a short time, and you deal increased damage to slower and frozen enemies. So, as you see, Arc weapons deal increased damage. Basically, you wear Bacchus, you dodge, and your Legend of Acrius would now be doing even more damage on top of that. So if Liar's Handshake is not working out, or it's not good for a certain activity, you can just rock Bacchus and do the same thing, and increase your damage even higher than normal. I think with these two exotics, either one combined, and that's just on hunters, I think Legend of Acrius will definitely see at least a moderate amount of play, if not a lot of play, if it ends up being significant in a damage buff, you know, compared to, like, I guess, Storm Chaser after nerf and things like that. But I would definitely go and get Legend of Acrius if you don't already have it. If you don't have it and you know where to get it, I will show you real quick. So once you're in the tower, the kiosk that you're looking for will be right next to the vault right here. So this is the vault. You're going to go to the exotic kiosk. And this is where you'll be able to buy any past exotic gear slash weaponry. So you got Legacy Legendaries there. And then you have the Witch Queen one. And we're looking for Red War. And this is where you would buy Acrius right here in the Red War part. So you need an exotic cipher, which you can get from Zur any Friday, and then you would need Spoils of Conquest, which you get from raids in the game. So if you have spoils saved up, consider buying this before it's too late. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for this Acrius buff? I know I am. And let me know what else you think about Arc 3.0. We should be getting that info in general next week. At least that's what Bungie said. I'll be trying to cover anything regarding like the subclasses, fragments, and all that once the season launches. So stay tuned for that. And, you know, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for all that nonsense. Also, I'll be streaming the entirety of the new season, including the world's first race for the raid on the 26th on my Twitch, twitch.tv/StickyBeaver, which you can find in the description below. And that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.